Afternoon and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence under the Green Dragon brand with Mike and Alex. We're here to talk to you once again about fucking video games, and before we get into that, we'd like to remind you to check us out on fucking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Most importantly, our website, where you can subscribe to our Gamers Under the Influence live audience for only $5 a month and help us become big boys and accomplish our dreams of being full-time.
Fuck.
Whatever the fuck we are here.
Full-time fucking talk about video gamers.
That's right, yes. Please do check that out. Fucking, and remember that the thing that separates us from our competitors is that we have a fucking focus. We have a theoretical framework. Not only fucking more than 20, 30, 40 even years of combined video game experience, but we also have a view of reality, where games fit within that, and why the fuck you should think the same thing. So please do check out our website, GreenDragonCVR.com, for all that fine information, and let's get into it this week. There's a couple of interesting and somewhat overlapping subjects.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself, but...
Sick, man. How are you, firstly?
I'm doing okay, man. Like usual, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm well, I'm well.
Fucking right.
Fucking had a pretty good week, playing some Resident Evil, playing some Deadly Premonition.
Nice, nice.
Nice stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing I've been all over the place again, playing Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, and playing a lot of Final Fantasy X still. Yeah. Which is nice. I fell asleep playing the other day, so that's pretty cool. That was fucking special.
What's really fucking grabbing you right now, if anything?
I don't know. I jumped into the forest last night a little bit. I've kind of been just really all over the place again. Like I haven't really had a focus. I played a little bit of Doom Eternal the other day. I'm like soul searching. I'm trying to find something that'll just latch onto me right now, and then I'll pull through, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah, but you got to do some toe dipping in that. You know?
I'm like,
I feel you. I'm kind of at the same place, man. I feel like when I get to the end of a game, like I'm at the last stretch of Disco Elysium. I think I got one session left in it.
Oh yeah,
one stream, yeah. And so I'm starting to experiment with other things, what to play next, and I fucking have, I don't know, been obsessed with like this detective motif lately. I guess for all of the fucking implications, like, just the nature of a detective story is that it implies, just by featuring a detective, stuff about what reality is and our relationship to it as minds,
Yeah, yeah.
Better detective stories really lean into that and explore it a lot, such as fucking Twin Peaks or, fucking Deadly Premonitions, right? Or Disco Elysium, yeah. And, after Disco Elysium, I started to mess around with Deadly Premonitions because I heard it was a lot like I just said, like Twin Peaks, which I love. Love David Lynch, and I really enjoyed Twin Peaks, especially season 3. The Return, which is famed for being just fucking, like, Adriana hated it. It's really just...
Oh, really?
Spacey as fuck. It's like almost like Inhuman, It's
but you liked it?
Yeah, it's great. It's ridiculous. For the same reason one would appreciate Deadly Premonition, but...
Right.
Anyways, I fucking, I digress.
Yeah, that game looked out there.
Yeah, it's cool. It is cool, though. Like,
small sections I've seen.
Even just a few minutes in it, you get that same sense you do in a Kojima game or in, those opening levels of a Souls game, or even in Final Fantasy, like the density of the world is upon you. Yeah, you're like, you really feel immersed,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I did manage to play Resident Evil 8 Village, the Maiden demo that was just came out a couple of days ago, didn't it? After the fucking Resident Evil event, the showcase that we watched live and also streamed. That was pretty cool. I must say, at least the 5 minutes of gameplay we did see.
Yeah, yeah.
Here I am, playing the demo, trying to take a screenshot of the toilet. Yeah.
It looks pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it does look pretty disgusting.
Like, I didn't have a chance to jump in. I would have liked to.
We're going to get into that a little bit, but...
yeah.
First, I'd like to fucking talk about this whole... We spent a lot of time talking about controversies in the industry, I guess. We always say we don't really want to, but then here we are back at it because...
Yeah. It's hard to ignore shit, right?
It is hard to ignore, but I think it also touches on some important shit. And, the case before us today is that of Microsoft fucking talking about yesterday how it was going to raise the... I don't even know what bullshit service. Like, I'm sure I already pay for it anyways, and they were going to raise the cost of it too.
Xbox Live Gold.
Okay, whatever.
Gold.
Yeah, that one.
Just Gold, to play online, basically was being doubled in cost. Like, if, the 1 year price was $59 US, and then they just basically said, for 6 months, it'll be the same cost, right? $59. Effectively doubling the cost, right? But a lot of people speculate that, they would do something like that to try and roll people into Game Pass Ultimate, which gives you access to Xbox Live Gold anyway, right? To make it more enticing. Like, they're trying to
which we know is their way of making money, right? Like, that's their business model, right?
Right. So they're trying to funnel people into that kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't really
I think it makes sense.
I don't know how much Game Pass Ultimate even costs. Like,
I think it's probably a bargain compared to buying that. I think I read it was a bargain. They probably, again, they're trying to price you out of that other model, you know?
Right, but why would they do that if they already have so many people subscribed to that one model anyway? I guess
everybody subscribed to the one thing, right?
I guess, yeah, they're trying to just unify everything into one, you know,
that's probably going to be their
Xbox,
unitary like means of income, I imagine. They're shooting for that, but, you know, people are pissed off about this. And if people's biggest complaint is fucking against Microsoft that they don't want to pay more, it doesn't seem like they have really they have no claim to stake about the rightness or wrongness of that. And at the end of the day, then what are you saying? You might as well just shut the fuck up, in my opinion, right? Like, you can't afford it, it sucks for you. Okay, that's all well and good, but I can't afford a Ferrari. That doesn't mean that I should complain about it, right? Like, that doesn't make it wrong for people to make them, you know? If there is a wrongness to it, that's not where it lies. And I do think that there's a lot wrong with the Microsoft brand, you know? I find 100%. It funny, just like with Cybercrunch, you know? People don't complain about wage labor. They don't complain about the general structures of neoliberal capitalism. Instead, they complain that people have to work an extra 20 hours or something like that a week. That's the problem
or whatever. Yeah,
that's the problem. No, man, the problem is systemic. Either it's systemic or there is no problem.
Yeah, the issue goes deeper than the 2 hours.
And if it doesn't, then that's not an issue. That's an arbitrary fucking pet peeve at best. Shut the fuck up, you know? Just like here, I'm saying, I guess, you know, what people have is they're fucking they've anthropomorphized their vision of Microsoft in a way probably that Microsoft would enjoy. And what's affronted is not their logic or their fucking any even measure of value. Even it's not even some market metric that's affronted. People just have this distaste for what they thought was, you know, this friendly abstract persona towards them, acting against their fucking expectations. It's like they were betrayed. Like that's exactly it. Yeah.
Why do you have any faith or stock in a company
because of the cultural product they were selling you before their actual product?
I guess maybe they're buying into that shit, and then they feel it's
purely ideological is what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with logic. It has nothing to do with fucking even market value. What it has to do with is ideology, this like augmented, non-logical fucking addition to the real that people have adopted around Microsoft lately. I guess because of all of the fucking YouTubers talking about how great they are and how consumer friendly, and Phil Bot's blog posts about wanting to make the world a better place, etc. You know,
you know what though? Like, I don't know how much of that I agree, but like the way I see things in terms of like, I hold fucking PlayStation in high regard because I've played PlayStation game, but even old Xbox. Anyway, I'm gonna derail really quickly.
Yeah, that's okay.
But Sony does fucking the same fucking corporate shit. It's a corporation at the end of the day, and I don't feel like slighted or fucking insulted when they do that kind of shit. I feel the same way as I do about Microsoft. They're doing what they got to do to make money, right? But to a certain degree, there is
Oh, don't get me wrong. That's another issue we're going to get into. Yeah. There is tons wrong with the fucking situation, but it is not that they have betrayed me. You know?
That's what I mean.
You saying they're anti-consumer? Buddy, that's fucking a relative measure at best. And on top of that, is that really how you regard... Like, who self-regards as a consumer?
Yeah.
You know? You've market immanentized yourself for the corporation, right? Like, they don't even have to do it, bro.
Yeah.
That's fucking embarrassing. Shut the fuck up. Nobody should see, like, I am a consumer. You know? No, man. You know? At the end of the day, it's not bad that they want to make more money. It's not bad that they want to charge you more, because that's what they are, a corporation. They're an engine for the production of money. That in and of itself is not offensive. What is offensive, and this is where I think really I should just fucking get into what I already prepared to say, because it's not offensive that they want to make money. We have an instance though where, like we talked about the other fucking week in Cyberpunk, this concept of market immanentization, like a technological singularity, like absorbing everything and fucking making it internal to itself, such that you're not even yourself anymore, really. You are that thing, right?
Yeah.
We have an instance of that here in the case of the Microsoft brand, where, not only does the business entity reduce the game thing, all the fucking games it makes, really, to like a trade format commodity, wherein every part of the game is not really like made because some guy was like, oh, I have this beautiful concept and these are the parts it needs. Instead, it's like, what does the market want of a game?
Yeah,
let us
like
make that
stripping
game,
all the art away from it,
yes,
right?
Like,
the whole,
it's like all you got is the skin, but underneath it lacks the parts that could possibly give skin structure, You just have the market's taste for games, right? Without the thing that gives those things taste. That's a separate problem anyways, but I think the problem again is the business entity reduces the game to trade format parts. You have boardroom game design, people commonly call it, where all you got is
famously,
yeah, you take a fucking survey of what other games have that are popular and you build that, you know, but inside, like the essence, the skeleton, the fucking...
there's no soul to really like
it lacks that,
thing,
you know,
right?
that's market immanentization. That's right, yeah.
Clear direction and...
The game reduced entirely to parts imminent to trade, you know, to what people want, to what a boardroom or what a guy who've never played a game.
That's why for the last fucking years we've had this, like, you know, disdain
with
for Microsoft, right?
Yeah. So you got that going on the side of Microsoft, but I think in the case of fans, you got this special fucking instance where the player, the knower of the game himself conceives of games in terms akin to the corporations, you know? He conceives of himself as a consumer. He reduces the game to a product and indexes it in terms of value. Whereas we said in the past, you know, I don't think the game should be market imminent. It should be cooperative with the market at best. It should always be external to it. You know, in the best case scenario, really the market would be an instrument of the art and not the other way around. But what we could at least expect is a symbiotic or mutually beneficial relationship between, you know, fucking making money and making art, right? A corporation, at the end of the day, like we just said, it doesn't make sense to be offended that they want to make money. It's an inanimate machine for generating profit.
Yeah,
that's like being mad that, that your car drives. Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. A corporation is a machine for making money. That's what it does. It doesn't make sense to say, well, all they want, they're greedy. They want, no, they're a corporation.
Corporation, yeah.
What do you think they want to do? You know? They want to bring gamers together? Like, are you fucking... What's wrong with your head?
Like I was saying, yeah, Sony's a corporation.
That is literally the product they are selling you. That impression right there, right?
Yeah.
In lieu of actual games, because they're Microsoft, you know? So that's not fucking in itself the problem, that they want to make money. As odious as it is, like, whatever the fuck we can say about it, that's just calling the kettle black, right? Since a corporation, though, is run by men, this tendency to kind of absorb all of the fucking shit related to it, you know, a corporation's like, okay, we want to make money. Let's fucking take this thing and make money with it. But in the course of doing that, it sucks it into itself, such that all that's left is that boardroom style, like the market's impression of the thing instead of the thing itself. Now, this is not necessary, I'm trying to say. Since corporations are run by people, we can resist this tendency of market immanentization that corporations kind of contain necessarily, and resist it to some degree, and maintain just a material overlap between the art and the business, such that, again, mutually beneficial. We're both fucking working for the same thing in the same location,
Kojima
so to
did
speak.
it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing it.
Both pursue different formal objects in the same material locale, we could say. But if you kind of take market imminence as the thing you're trying to make when you do a game, what you're trying to do is make money, what you're trying to do is make something marketable, then fucking the thing you make, you know, the artist's concepts and work, it'll contain nothing but market relative or reducible elements, literally the skin, without the thing that makes it valuable in the first place, right? Everything else will be discarded, such as in the case of, you know, this famous euphemism, fucking single player games aren't popular, right? Like,
single-player games are dying.
Single-player games are dying. Therefore, we should never make them is obviously the subtext of that. That's the perfect example of market immanentization. What you're saying is a game should be what is valuable. So all that's left is literally the market's impression of the game. You discard the rest of it. That's an example of market immanentization, right? So, but at the end of the day, then the result will be like Anthem. It'll be like a fucking alien's parodical idea of what a video game is. You know? And people are like, what the fuck is this? This is like literally like an index of features for a game, but it's not a game, right? Like, it's like if you took the letters of a language and you threw them in a bowl. Like, it's like fucking alphabet cereal, bro. It's not a word, right? Like, that's what it boils down to. So, at the end of the day, we're left with the dual problems of the Xbox brand, you know, I guess. Fucking the dual problems of both consumers, quote unquote, and fucking the corporation themselves fucking wholeheartedly supporting this market immanentization. The problem is not only obviously the obvious problem that it makes shit art, it makes shit games. The games that come out the other end are fucking... Let's not even get into how terrible they are.
Game Pass you're speaking of right now, right?
Yeah, like Microsoft's approach to game design, like the recent Gears of War and all the reasons I talked about in the past, its tone and its fucking everything about it, all the reason is all of those kinds of games. You know, the same kind of problems with games like Star Wars Battlefront 2 or any sort of boardroom design game, right? Like, the problems with that are obvious. The negative impact of fucking, you know, overt corporate influence on art is very clear to everybody. But what might be less obvious is the fact that yielding to that tendency of market immanentization is probably bad for business too. It puts you in a Microsoft-ass position where, like, the market will just cannibalize, bro. It's a mindless machine to fucking absorb everything. And if you let that happen, it'll get to the point where there's nothing left for it to use to make a profit, right? Like, to make a profit at all, it depends on there being something outside of itself with value to sell, to generate a surplus, right? And if you fucking take that shit and you just translate it entirely to the terms of the market, quote unquote, to what people want, you know, to fucking...
So, hold on. With all that in mind, now looking at things like, what do we make of them buying out ZeniMax and Bethesda? Like, do you really think they're going to continue on making the fucking thing is, banger games? Like, making
I don't really know. Like,
good titles?
That's
we don't know.
Thing, what is funny about that, though, I said it before, you know, I celebrated this back in the summer when it happened.
We did,
the more you think about it, like, doesn't it seem then like... They're like, all right, the problem is that we got nothing to sell. We got the market, but we got nothing to market. So what do? We don't fucking imagine how many fucking game studios you could have made with that money, buddy. Imagine how many, like,
$8 billion. Are you kidding me?
You could have fucking gone like talent scouting across the globe. Yeah. You know, and built a studio probably in every country of the world and given them all $10 million to make a game, you know? And they probably would have made amazing games. They probably would have made all kinds of money too. Who knows what kind of return this fucking ZeniMax shit will have, if anything, right? But, you know, that aside, the interesting point to me, though, it seems like their problem was market immanentization. They had nothing outside of themselves to sell. So what did they do? They solved the problem with money, you know? Yeah. They solved the problem in the terms of the market. When really what you should do then is take your vast resources and make them the instrument of something else, right? That's fucked up, man. Doesn't just let's just sit here and think. Xbox solves its talent problem not by investing. You have the resources to fucking hire people to make games, and instead, what do you buy existing?
You know what's fucked? Even like look at their like best titles, like Forza. I would call Forza one of the best games on the Xbox, and that's an internal studio that they started and sort of headed up. And then like, Halo. Okay, I know they took over Halo, but exactly same thing.
Really, they're all of their franchises that were the ones that they fucking started a while ago.
Exactly.
You know?
Even if you go as far as like Fable and stuff, those are studios. Those are games that started by internal studios, right? Like.
It's easy, even when you think about it, it's easy to be like, yeah, Obsidian, okay, they fucking made like 50 great RPGs in the past 2 years. We'll let them make a game now.
Yeah, like,
bro,
I mean,
that's easy.
For sure, yeah. We were hyped when we saw that they bought all this.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Like, it's good to have that under your brand, but at the end of the day, like, this is a separate issue slightly, isn't it? The issue is, again, that like, I don't like this brand because unlike the ideal scenario where the machine is run by people who maintain its difference from the things it's supposed to sell, here the machine is just out of control. It's absorbed everything, you know? So there's even the personalities involved. It's like Phil is like a tendril of the corporation. Just the propaganda arm, the fucking Goebbels of the corporation out there fucking, you know, like, yes, we're friendly, consumer friendly. Oh, we'll teach girls math. Yes, we hear you. Oh, and always so passive, always so willing to bend over and just take it, you know? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've seen that meme. It's our favorite meme too. Okay, we heard you. This is a learning experience. Like, bro. It just seems like you don't have anything to sell. You know, it just seems like you have no confidence in your own brand. And on top of that, like, you have no spine at all. Like, is that a good look? You know, it's not a good look. This jacking up the price. What is a good look? Being a sponge, being a you know, like a sex doll for the fucking industry, just to like, yeah, just give us your opinion. Just we'll take it, right? Like, who respects that?
You know what? They are in such a weird position nowadays if you think about like where we've come in the course of this whole fucking, you know, the whole Xbox experiment, if you will, right? Like it's funny because today I was like putting away some shit in my basement. I had like a bunch of Xbox controllers and I have one of the original Xbox, and I was kind of thinking about, you know, the conversation we were having now, like that was, you know, gonna take place, and fucking it's unbelievable that they came into the industry with the same precedents that they're in now, like as like, oh, we're coming in with money because it's profitable, but they had fucking good games back then, right? They had a lot of fucking things were looking good. They were taking a run at Sony for that kind of shit, right?
I think the
360 was a fucking amazing console, and then some fucking shit went horribly wrong, dude.
The problem they face is pure, like, again, that their only terms of assessment are they're imminent to the market. They say fucking, what kind of game should we make? Well, let's look at what is making money and we will make those games. Like, they're fucking
but is that like an American thing? Like, is that, you know, that whole corporate, like...
It would be hard even to say it's a capitalist thing. Like, the Japanese are fucking capitalists, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah.
Like, they're corporate as fuck,
But they
too.
still still maintain a relationship, like you were saying, that enables, you know, money considerations and
there's this
art
concept that I talk
fucking,
about sometimes, like when you play, like one of the reasons I think video games are fucking such a special medium of art is because when you play a game, there is no kind of affordable or fucking distinguishing relationship between you and the subject matter. In a game, you totally melt into the thing.
Yeah.
Quite like in the Microsoft case, the product melts into fucking the terms of the market. You know, you don't want that. You want to maintain, unlike in a game, an affordable relationship between the market, between the business aspect and the thing you're trying to make, right? You don't want them to melt into each other. There needs to be a distinction, you know? And like, I don't exactly know, probably for cultural reasons, if I had to guess, why fucking some Japanese publishers are better at fucking doing this, but you know, it seems like definitely American culture is built on the premises of fucking of it is the culture of the market, right? Like,
yeah,
it
that's
is the
the weird thing.
civilization
It's
of
almost
the
like they
market,
have
you
no
know?
respect for the other side, right?
There is
like
no
the
other
two,
side.
the
It
two.
doesn't exist. I mean, it sounds funny, but that's true, right? Like that.
See, but that's where I'm thinking, like, you know, the where on the Japanese side of things, like they do have a respect for the other side of the art that needs, you know what I mean? There's both considerations and whatever, you know. I don't want to sound like a weeb, but
an affordable relationship. Yeah, I think it's probably the case. At least it seems that way, you know.
Yeah.
But again, we have to remember that the corporation is a stupid machine, you know? Of course it has the tendency to make more money, and like, of course it's not bad for it to want to do that, but like, fucking, it is bad if you fucking let it eat itself alive, of course, right? And we're definitely well into Microsoft's process of doing that to itself.
Oh, fuck yeah. They have nothing.
They're literally just
sell.
shitting out their own flesh, you know? Like, hello, like,
So Game Pass.
that's terrible. Yeah. So I think that's really the problem with this fucking, you know, it doesn't make any sense. You're complaining that the price is double. So the fuck what? If they had something worth selling, there's not really any, it's more than valuable, you know? It's worth all the money in the world, really. Like, you don't assign a proportion to it, right? They're well within their rights to charge fucking what they feel like, and plus like fucking $120 a year, that's what I pay for every fucking other goddamn subscription I have in the world. So shut the fuck up, really. Like, give me a break. That is standard as fuck. That's base, bro. That's like, everything is like that, you know? That's not unique. I'm sorry, like, just shut the fuck up. And are you telling me what, you can't afford it? And even if you do afford it now, it's not even your problem. I just like, it's so base. That's not the problem with Microsoft, you know?
Yeah, but
if this is a problem,
I mean,
it's because it signifies a wider fucking, it's a symptom of their fucking broader disease, which is this total tendency towards.
That is true for sure. You just fucking, you know, like, you know how it works. People are fucking blow shit up and whine about it on the internet. Like, that's standard nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Because anti-consumer.
And again, like, I don't mean to sound like, you know, sometimes we probably sound like there's a good guy in this story, but there's no good guy. Like, all corporations are like
no,
this.
and
Like, that's the nature of a corporation.
That's what I was trying to say before. Whereas, like, I do, you know, I've had every single PlayStation, I've had every Xbox too, but and you know, so some fucking Sony games, some PlayStation fucking published games, you know, hold a fucking special place in my heart. But at the same time, Sony and PlayStation are a corporation, and I don't have any feelings towards them that, like, if they did something like this, same thing on the Xbox side, that like I'm gonna be upset or be like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, it's
like they're
really,
personally betrayed. Like, I get it. I don't want to pay fucking double the price for anything either. But
nobody's saying, obviously, that's a separate thing though. Like
that's what I mean. Yeah,
is what you're saying really just, I don't like it?
It's this like really betrayal thing, like, right? This anti-consumer, like, you know, oh, I thought we were friends, bro. Like, we're not.
That is what it is. I thought we were friends.
You know, like, I thought we were friends, man. Like, what is this? But it's fucking, But, you know, all companies are afflicted by this. I think it's a difference of kind, not degree. And it's a difference of whether or not the people, you know, in control of the machine fucking... Same reason I can't stand Apple. They're a shit company. Can apply it to all of the corporations, though.
Some are more cannibalistic of their fucking IPs and their franchises and their subject matter than others, but they're all like that at the end of the day. And like, you know, we were talking about Resident Evil and watching that showcase the other day, like there was 5-10 minutes of actual gameplay related shit, and the rest of it was like just commercials, essentially.
Yeah, so I think actually we really liked what we saw from Resident Evil Village.
This is a good segue though.
For sure,
I think though, just to observe though, that all companies are like that.
That they are, yeah.
Even this
yeah.
game we were about to talk about that we really, I think Capcom is amongst the Japanese companies that is great at making money, but also in my opinion, at least lately, fucking
they have
maintaining that affordable distance between the fucking work.
They've
and
stepped
business.
it up,
Yeah.
but you know, the end of the last gen coming into this gen, they've really fucking turned a corner.
Yeah. But even
everything
that,
they come out with is fucking good shit.
It's true. But can you not see that tension even in this showcase? How like fucking most of it was devoted to marketing over the thing to be marketed, right?
Yeah. So of course they showed Resident Evil 8 Village, and then you know, they showed a couple minutes gameplay, and that's their fucking primo product, right? That's what we want. That's what fucking most people probably do. But then they showed their reverse multiplayer, which was
I'm not down for that.
Multiplayer,
I must say, like,
I don't know.
That whole thing just irritates the shit out of me. To me, that's perfect. See, I mean, that's them to me keeping the distance between their fucking shit product that's made for money and their good product that's made for art. You know?
The fucking multiplayer component was cell shaded, third person, like it was totally separate. And I know what you're saying, business, but I mean literally through and through, from top to bottom. It's like totally a fucking different thing, right?
It is a totally different thing, which is great. Again, you're keeping that affordable distance between the good and the bad, but at the same time, though, to me, that Resident Evil universe thing, that's pure, like, you just commoditizing the franchise.
They have to, right?
You're just taking the skin of it and fucking making a...
I guess, when you put it that way, you're right.
To munch on. It's fucking ridiculous, bro.
Some fucking leftover assets.
What the fuck is that? Yeah.
They just cobble them together.
That's ridiculous.
I know. You got a point.
Resident Evil flavored soup.
And like, I like fucking multiplayer games, but like, I can't imagine myself ever playing this game either. Although I kind of want to, just to like go back and forth with you a little bit about it. And like, you know, that would be fun. But
I mean, I'm criticizing it though from the perspective of,
you know what it is, based on like a financial perspective, where they need something additional to
my criticism is though
fund all this shit.
It's like more an aesthetic one than a moral one. I'm not saying fuck this thing, it shouldn't exist. Like, in fact, I think that's exactly how you should do things like that, right?
Yeah, I agree too.
Shit like that, bro. Like,
it just doesn't interest you. Yeah,
I don't want to say like I'm a big fan of it because I don't like it. I'm just saying, just like taking a shit, it's necessary. You know, if
it's better than
the way you maintain that affordable distance, quote unquote. I say affordable, like the distance. A relationship is epidemic. It's not affordable when it compromises the two things related. You know, like in a video game, you don't have an affordable relationship because you are the thing. There's no more relationship. You are the guy represented. You're one and the same, you know? You're bleeding together. You're decaying, right? But you don't want that between games and art. And fucking the way you maintain that distance, I think, of course, is if your business is video games and fucking the normal mode of making traditional games doesn't produce enough money and you want to commoditize, then you fucking don't commoditize the substance. You definitely take its accidents.
You don't
spew them out in some fucking stream. Why not, you know?
Resident Evil 8 Village XP booster, like it's fucking.
It is base. It's ugly, but I mean, taking a shit is ugly too. You know, it's not morally bad in and of itself. It's bad if you fucking take a shit on the dinner table, though. You know what I mean, so to speak, right? Like, metaphorically, like if you.
I understand. 100%. Yeah, I guess
you know,
nice
that's why. Like,
that,
I don't like
it.
Like, I can't say like when I saw that RE Universe thing, I was like, this is just.
And then they even had a Netflix show they teased too. That was, that might be sick. I would be down.
The CGI Resident Evil movies are good, bro. You should check them out.
You know what? I really want to watch them. I might watch one tonight for sure. You said there's a couple?
There's a couple. Yeah. They're cool. I'm
gonna check one out tonight for sure because I'm a fan of having you know, instead of trying to find actors who look like characters in these video games and making it work, cobbling it together, like, just do a fucking animated movie one, right?
That's
like,
right, man.
The CGI is fucking phenomenal nowadays anyway. It's fucking
one thing I used to learn from fucking when I started watching a little bit of anime when I was a bit younger, you know, things like fucking Ergo Proxy or Attack on Titan, you know, I was thinking like, man, because it's animated, you have just like in video games, the freedom to portray things that, of course, like fucking, you know, you can never do with practical effects or with actors.
And when you blend real life actors and CGI, you can
fucking limitations. If you make it this way, you can just do whatever you want. You can display anything. So Resident Evil, you know,
and it all looks fucking consistent.
Plus photogrammetry and shit nowadays, like it's better than actors, bro. I'd rather look at some fucking digital actor. It's
honestly,
it's like the platonic form of a person. It's not some greasy body, you know, with like pores and sweat and shit.
You can definitely tell we like video games if that's the side of things around, right?
But yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, that is an interesting way to fucking, you know, and you see here, like, where do these boundaries fucking even come into play? Like, I guess from the company's perspective, that's a mode of commoditizing the fucking franchise, but who's to say some guy can't make a good movie in the Resident Evil universe? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Not like a Paul Anderson movie, which You know, say what you will, they're fun, but they're not great movies. But like actually like one
Fair,
that expands the lore and like fucking, you know. So that was all well and good, but like the cool thing about this event, it was the event, yes, but more than anything, I mean, like I feel like it was there to announce that they were putting out a demo that you could actually fucking play the game that day.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that did, and I played it, man. I played it that day. We just saw it. The stream is even over right now, but
Yeah.
dude, it's great. It's really good.
Yeah, what was the demo like?
The demo, I think I fucking posted something on Twitter about this that I think I want to re-articulate it. You know, it's a great way to show how you can fucking iterate upon a franchise, you know? You can use what came before as like the matter, especially the mechanisms and like fucking the gameplay. It can be the matter for expressing a different idea. And not even like a radically different idea at the level of moving around and the fucking tone and all that shit, but just like, you know, different subject matter, right? Like obviously we fucking have an aesthetic transition between Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, right? Like I thought this was going to be some kind of Dracula, like gothic horror kind of shit, but it turns out it's not really. It's more like decadent fucking, you know, French like Rococo fucking shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like Bloodborne,
yeah.
you know? Like it's
Like
not
that
exactly
Victorian
Dracula.
Gothic. I like.
Yeah, it's like Victorian like fucking decadence and not quite like that, you know, like fucking cold like rundown Gothic look. Instead, it's like really like opulent.
Seductive
and fucking
was
seductive.
the fucking.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
the most important
Yes, definitely.
adjective there.
Whereas the Baker Estate, you know, is this fucking Louisiana, like bayou, like fucking shit stain, like
Stinky fucking-
awful, like
yeah,
you feel this like
muddy,
constant
like,
feeling of revulsion,
wall.
you know. Whereas here it's instead this like mutual, like, you know, yeah, it's seductive, like this
more
fucking
intriguing,
this
right? It's,
competing, like it makes for a special brand of horror. I'm sure some kind of literary theory could articulate this better than I'm capable of, but there's like this dual fucking almost like this fetishistic like fascination and terror at the same time, right, that you experience when you're playing this. And like personally, I fucking love that whole aesthetic from Resident Evil 7. What I really liked about, you know, playing the Village demo was the fucking architecture and the tone of the environments and even of the villains and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a fucking big fan of that kind of Rococo architecture. You know, it's fucking late Baroque architecture. It came about like fucking, you know, it's really funny how all this shit fucking came to be actually. And, you know, there was this thing in Europe called the Protestant Revolution where people decided they didn't like Rome and the Pope and all that shit, and they didn't like the way people like, you know, did religion with like all the fucking pagan styles of art and like excessive gold robes and all that shit, you know. So they went and they fucking got rid of all the hierarchy and all of the, you know, the ornaments and the decorations, and they're just kind of iconoclastic and boring, you know. And in response, other people were like, oh yeah, you're gonna fucking get rid of your icons and your art and your shit. We're gonna just fucking make it excessive as fuck. And so they took like every flat wall you could fucking find.
That's where you see that.
They fluted it over with
all that like gold trim and wainscoting just shooting up the walls, all the wallpaper, right? Like the fucking
It's very much like the architecture of like, you know, Versailles or St. Peter's Basilica, kind of like.
That's
even,
what I'm so like stoked on it. More than fucking.
Me too. I'm down to explore that kind of space.
Yeah, it looks cool, man.
I think the cool thing about Resident Evil, you know, which makes it even more cool, this kind of architecture, is that Resident Evil is a game that's very much about exploring like a puzzle box, sort of like, you know, little ecology, like a little environment, like a stage, like ready-made for you to pour over every little detail, right? Like,
yeah, like the mansion with all the little rooms.
There's a lot of
and the
spatial
fucking,
logic. You got to remember the space and pay a lot of careful attention and crouch and look over everything. And even objects, you pick them up, you got to flip them over and look at them. So it's a game that very much demands your attention to the space. And if the space is made in this manner that's so aesthetically appealing, at least
it's
to me,
important.
like I'm excited
it's interesting.
for that,
yeah, oh man.
Yeah, and I like how they're going for such a tonal shift too, you know? They go from it was cool because Resident Evil 2 and 3, you know, like classic Resident Evil is kind of, even Resident Evil like, you know, 5 and 4, like they take place in different places, but they have that same kind of vibe or tone, you know? Whereas when you look at something like fucking 4, or when you look at something like 7 and then again at 8, like it seems pretty like drastically different. Probably 4 was I guess 4 and 5 are kind of the notable exceptions to what I'm saying, but the rest of them, you know, are more clearly like aesthetically the same, right?
There was 6 as well.
Yeah, 6 was like 1 and 2, like it's in Raccoon City from what I understand.
Oh really?
Like,
yeah,
an urban landscape.
I'm not really experienced in the Resident Evil franchise, to be honest, but I would definitely like to play 8 Village.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty stoked for that game. So yeah, I fucking I guess, you know, having gone through a game like that, we have plenty of evidence, and the 21st century to believe it's possible for fucking business to cooperate with fucking artistic intent, you know? And like, I think like if there's any fucking problem with Microsoft and if there's any tragedy to their story, it's that, you know, with all their vast resources, they don't just fucking commit like some tiny, like less than 1% of those resources to cultivating the kind of thing that I believe at the end of the day would be better for their business anyways, right?
Even EA has like...
Yeah, even EA, bro. Even EA has EA originals.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like
they fucking do things like Fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fallen Order.
There's examples of it all over. If you look
Activision,
around,
of
like
course,
there's, you know, Activision and Sekiro. Like this, you know, it's nice to have good fucking games in your stable, like you always say, right? That's the whole thing, right?
That's what makes you the game company. That's what gives you license to just proliferate shit elsewhere for money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that's...
It's like the prerequisite, right? You have to have some good shit, you know.
But this is not an interesting observation. This is something that people have been fucking saying for all kinds of time.
Like, definitely.
This is simply the observation that something like a quote-unquote capitalist system is cannibalistic, right? Like, at the one hand, it tries to absorb everything into itself. It tries to make everything internally indexed so that it can fucking, you know, reproduce and swell. But on the other hand, to do that, it depends on something outside of itself that it can suck on, you know, and absorb. And so those tendencies compete. Eventually, if you fucking absorb the outside, there's nothing left for you to fucking... It's a terrible fucking reality at the end of the day that, like, we, you know, changing that is beyond the scope of this fucking podcast, obviously. Just to say, if we have to fucking live within that, the best you could hope for is attaining a sort of affordable relationality, right? Like a fucking symbiotic relationship where everything serves everything else instead of destroying each other.
Yeah, the parts don't have to overlap only where necessary, right?
Yeah, you overlap to do business, right? Like, this guy gives me money and I give him something to sell, but you don't overlap because the guy who's giving
so easy.
It does sound easy, but what happens in effect is the guy giving the money gives him money to sell, you know?
Yeah, I know.
You give market to sell, quote unquote. Yeah. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. It's been a fucking pleasure. I hope you enjoy your games and pay for whatever is fucking... If anything is worth money, it's worth all the money in the world. That's all I really fucking know. Yeah?
It's a good way to look at it.
Otherwise, it's worth nothing and fuck it, right? We should just be bums, drunk, fucking crazy lunatics, you know?
Fucking A.
You know, affordability belongs between fucking games and companies and not between me and fucking... the object of my desire.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you fucking have a great night and take care of yourselves. Play your games.
Yeah.